Tom here from King's Auto Repair, and today we're going to run through some testing that we did on this 2016 Subaru here. The horn didn't blow. What we're kind of show you today is the kind of us going through our diagnosis and testing for this horn not blowing. I kind of went the long way around on it. I already looked at it. We had the parts here to fix it. But this is something that I should have done early on and I didn't think about it. We didn't have any lights on the dashboard or anything, so I'll flip you around and kind of show you what's going on here. All right, so our horn doesn't work, as we see here. We got just our normal lights on our dashboard there. We got our park brakes on, our lights are on, not wearing my seatbelt, so nothing else kind of weird. And what I didn't do off the start was, they just said that the horn didn't work, and when you push it you have nothing. And I didn't think that maybe I should try this in some different spots, so I went under the hood and tested at the relay, and well, I realized I didn't have a signal coming from the horn. Oh, there, beeped a little bit. But what we could have done was taken this wheel, pressed the button like I am now, and I turned the steering wheel and our horn blows. And usually that is an indication that we have a bad clock spring. And what we're going to do is we'll show you how we get this apart, and I'll show you actually what we call the clock spring, because it is like the old-timey clocks that they're talking about, where it's just kind of wound in a circle, and all this is a cable that's wound around itself a whole bunch of times that allows allows play in it. So when you turn the steering wheel, the wiring goes with it. So that wiring inside is probably damaged, and that's why when you go to blow the horn when it's straight ahead, you have nothing. But if you turn the wheel to the side, just like so, everything works properly. So let's go get this in the bay and we'll start pulling it apart. All right, so we're in the shop now, and I did go ahead and pop the airbag out. I figured no one wants to watch me struggle with it for 10 minutes, and it's going to be a lot easier for me to show you what to do once it's out. I used a long pick, but we'll kind of talk about what we can use from there. So you have to come in through these little holes on the side here. You see there's a little hole right here. And what you'll end up doing is using a pick or a screwdriver, grabbing my pick here, and you end up putting it up through the hole, and you want to reach in. And as you can see, it's pretty difficult. There's not a whole lot of ways you can see in through that hole, but what we're trying to do is reach in and get a hold of, let's see if we can zoom in here. See if we get some more zoom. You see my pick kind of moving around down there, and we're just trying to catch a hold of that little wire, and when you do that, it pops out. You push that back and it pops out. So with this one here, you're trying to reach in and kind of grab it and push it. Same with the other side. There's a hole on the other side here, and you would reach in through that hole, grab that, you reach in with your pick, and let's see, and you got to kind of feel for it, and see if we can't get on it here. The exact same thing. You see we're all around it, and you move it and it releases. And the same thing again for the bottom one. You can see I pushed this bottom one pretty hard, and it actually got stuck up there. So before we put it back together, or right now, we're going to pull it off of there and pull it into place, because when you reach up to the bottom, you're going to do the exact same thing. They have the hole. They have a hole right here. You come up through, and you're trying to get in and kind of grab a hold and push up on that. Once you get all three of them pushed up, the airbag will pop out without you having to work too hard at it. So next step, after we get this out, and we do have the column off, the cover off the column. That doesn't need to come off right away. But what we'll do is we'll get this airbag out of here. We'll take this. We're gonna see we got some connectors here. These are your airbag connectors, and then we have a ground wire back here. So first thing we want to do is disconnect these connectors here, which that guy doesn't look like he's seated all that well. So let's get these guys out. All right, the magic of editing. Yeah, there's actually a little tab on there you have to pull up. So I need 2 hands for that, but now we got our airbag. We are going to set this down like that. That way, if it goes off, this doesn't become a projectile. If you were to set it face down and it were to go off, it would send this thing up in the air and we don't know where it's going to go. So we always set them down like this. In case the airbag goes off, it will push it down into the seat. Now that we got to our steering wheel here, next step we're going to do is we're going to take these wires out. So they're out of the way. Unplug this guy by squeezing the little clip. And we're going to take this little guy off here. And we can probably leave this one in for right now. And for our next step, what we're going to do is we're going to take this nut off right here. All right, so we're back. We got our 17 millimeter. We're going to put it right on that nut. We're going to see if I can do this one-handed. See how tight this actually is. We got it. We're able to do it one-handed and held it with my knee. Really helps when you got another hand to hold the steering wheel. Goes a lot easier. So, I'm going to get our nut off, and then we're going to try our cheater way to get the steering wheel off before we put a puller on. What we're going to do, or take our leg, we're going to put it right at the bottom of the steering wheel. Up, and it worked. And we're going to grab a hold of the top, and we're going to use it as a little bit of leverage, and we're just going to pull at the top. Sometimes that doesn't work. Most of the time it does. Just depends if somebody had it off already. We want to disconnect our wires up here. Once our wires are disconnected, we can leave these. Well, let's pull the airbag ones out too. No, you know what? We'll leave them in. We'll leave our airbag ones in. What we're going to do is slide our steering wheel out, slide everything out, set our steering wheel over to the side. Don't set it on top of the airbag. And now we are at our piece we call the clock spring. Now, what we want to do, set that down there. We're going to take these connectors, disconnect them out of the bottom here. This one's probably got a crazy lock on it. Yeah, take a closer look at that. And let's see, these switches probably come off of it, but we'll disconnect everything for right now. Disconnect our light switch over here. Disconnect our wiper switch. And we got a little one back here. Just going to disconnect everything here. I just don't want to, doesn't take much to plug them in. Let's see what we got. We got to climb under here and take a look at what we got. Oh, we got some kind of slide lock. Looks like what we have to do is slide this back and then the whole thing will come out. So no press lock there. And then this guy's still attached. So we're going to get that little tab in the back and pull him out too. Now, it's looking like everything here is loose. Let's find the little tabs. A little tab here that holds it on. And a little tab on the other side. Careful, you don't want to break everything. And looks like we got one up on top too. All right. Oop, come on. You can come out of there. Everything's disconnected. Come on. Let's go. Something's still holding on. Something decided it wants to hold tight yet. There we go. Let's clip on the other side. All right. So this is the piece they call the clock spring. This is most likely our point of failure here. This is why the steering, why it works. This is why the horn works sometimes and other times it doesn't. So let's get this part, open it up, and I'll show you kind of what's inside. Go over to the bench here. We pulled apart a couple clips on the inside. Now, as we open this up, this is why they call it a clock spring. What we'll see in here is a ribbon type wire wound around itself that allows it to tighten and loosen as you turn the steering wheel. And what's happening with this is there's a bad spot in it. Most likely it is broke somewhere inside this wire. I'm not 100% sure where, but this, you can see it's all wrapped around in there, and they make it do, well, look at that. Even comes with hair in it. It's probably not the problem, but maybe. But there's actually hair in there. It's interesting. So this right here is the real reason the horn is acting funny like that. And you have all these little rollers in here that allow the wire to kind of slide along and nothing to happen to it while you turn the steering wheel. But most likely one of these little ribbon wires in here has a little break in it, and just depending on how it bends, it opens and closes. I'm not going to go through every little one, but see if there's anything obvious. Maybe if I hold it up against the sunlight. But I have a feeling it is such a tiny break in there, we're not going to be able to actually isolate it. I'm not seeing anything that's obvious. But you have two separate ones in here also. One just for the airbags, the other for the radio switches and everything else that's on the steering column. But generally, they will keep the airbag ones totally separate from anything else, because you don't want that to cause a problem with the airbags. So let's open up the new one and get it in the car. All right, so we're back in the car, and I just thought I'd point something out that's interesting. This is a little bit of how your turn signals work. So we have it in the neutral position right now, and this little tab right here is what actually cancels your turn signals. So you see right now it goes either direction. There's basically no resistance. When I go to make a left-hand turn and I move the stalk down, you'll see if I go to push up now, there's resistance, and this little tab popped out. There's no resistance going down. So this allows you to make that left-hand turn, and this is the clicking that you hear. And what it's touching is a piece on this clock spring. You'll see these little cutouts in here. See the little cutouts in this plastic? As this turns, that's what you hear clicking, is that little white tab going over these notches in this little piece. And what'll end up happening, you turn, and then when you go to turn back, you push up on it, and when you push up, it turns the turn signal back. Same with the right hand turn. What you'll notice is you can turn right. It's real easy. I go to turn left, nothing happens. You put it down, it cancels. So that's how the turn signals work on a car. So now what we're going to do, we got our new clock spring loaded in. Do not pull the green piece out. We're not going to pull it out until everything's mounted up. This keeps it centered. When you do this job, you want to make sure you have your steering wheel centered before you take all this apart. What we're going to do is we're just going to take this and we're going to line up our little tabs over here we pulled down. We're going to line that one up and the one on top, and we're just going to take it and push it till it snaps in place. We're going to go behind here. We're going to give it a little tug, and a little tug. Make sure it's all good. And now we are at the point we can put the steering wheel back on. So we will grab our wheel, and this point we can pull our little green pin, because everything's locked dead ahead, and it's going to make a liar out of me as I try to pull it. We got it pulled. Our steering wheel is set straight ahead, top dead center, and we're going to get our steering wheel in there. Let's see if we can do this one-handed. Slide those wires right through there. We're going to bring it around. We're going to set our steering wheel on, and we're going to make sure we're straight ahead. And before we put this airbag back in, I'm going to take it for a spin and make sure we got this right, because there's no locating splines on this steering wheel. We just have a fully splined shaft there, which means you could put it on like this, or you could put it on like that. You know, it just kind of all over the place. This is why you want to make sure everything is straight ahead when you take the steering wheel off. So, all right, our next step is going to be grabbing our nut. Put our nut on, and we're going to tighten this down. And wherever my socket got to, rolled all the way to the back. So we got our socket, and for this, I am going to use two hands, because doing this one-handed and making it tight is kind of, it won't be good. It'd be kind of dangerous. We're going to take this and basically get a good little tighten on it. I'm not going to go crazy, because if we got to take it off again, we'll have some problems. Anyway, all right. Now we're going to plug our other stuff in here. And we're going to give this a test to make sure we're straight. Looks like we're straight there. And we're straight ahead there. Get out of the car and check. Well, we may take this for a drive and make sure it's straight before we totally put everything together. So, the next step, I'll grab you back here. We're going to plug all these back in again, which I didn't have to unplug, but made it a lot easier to look at stuff. Where does this guy go? Use my lone connector. Gonna need some light. I'm an old guy now. I can't see as well. So we have one right there. That goes to, it's probably the one I had trouble getting out. It's behind something. Is that not? Oh, tell me we got the wrong one. Ooh, we gotta go look. We have to look at our connectors here. Oh, well, would you look at that? I think we got the wrong one, because we seem to be missing that connection right there. That's why we can't find anything. Should be right on the back of here. Oh boy. So guess what? We get to do this job twice, because this is not the right one. I ordered this from the dealer too, so came straight from the dealer. Yeah, not the right part. Awesome. Guess I should have looked a little closer. Oh well. Guess we'll pull it back apart, get it back in the box, and get the right one coming. Before I take this all apart, we can test this to make sure everything's all good. This here is actually the horn wire. This is the ground that goes to the over here to our airbag, and how this works is you'll see there's like plastic right there, and those plastic mounts that are gripped by the little springs in the beginning, they keep ground from passing through that and out to this wire, which turns the horns on. If we wanted to make sure everything worked properly, what we can do, and that our clock spring's the actual problem, we can blow the horn right now by just touching this wire to the steering wheel, just like that. So we take it and we can touch it, and we know our clock spring was the problem because our steering wheel's straight ahead now, and we still have everything's working properly. So when we go and we get the correct clock spring for this, we'll get it all back together, and we already proved that this was the fix for this. So anyway, if you liked it, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and we'll see you later.